Okay, I think we're back.
Sorry about that all.
I'll try to not do that again.
And we're gonna now move on to presentation from HDR. Just an update on our Clearwater work. Jeff?
Do we have Jeff?
Yep.
There he is.
Yep.
Jeff, do I make you presenter?
I wasn't planning to share screen or anything, so I think we're
All right.
good. Yeah. Yeah. Just a quick update on the Clearwater study. I just briefed the technical subcommittee on some work that we did. Focus past couple weeks has been on updating the supplemental supply target, that volume of water that the project is being designed around or being analyzed around. And so we talked about that. Main activity that we've done is we've basically re-baselined that to consider 2025 the base year. And the prior supply target contemplated a 50-year time horizon. We've now extended that to a 100-year time horizon. And we've also vetted the recent updates that the cities and the universities have done to their water system plans to make sure that we're consistent with the growth projections there. All of that leads to a higher water supply target now, mainly since we're looking at a longer time horizon of 100 years. So instead of what had been tossed around as a 10 CFS value, now we're focusing more on a 20 CFS as this more long-term upper end estimate of a withdrawal rate. So more details were discussed with the committee, but we got the green light to proceed that way, and that's going to serve as a basis for our continued work. So that was the main thing with the technical subcommittee today. We're also continuing the work then with analyzing Clearwater water supply availability under various conditions, seasonally, considering in-stream flows, water rights, and then we're also starting the work of identifying potential diversion locations and what that would mean for the beginning of pipeline alignments. To help inform that discussion, we do have a meeting set up with the city of Lewiston next week so that our team can learn more about their experiences recently on their new diversion and talk about potential collaboration, et cetera. So that's the current activity going on.
Great. Thanks, Jeff. Does anybody have any questions for Jeff? All right. Well, appreciate the work. And yeah, as Jeff said, there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. Appreciate the technical subcommittee and their continued engagement with that. The city of Lewiston was really, really gracious to be willing to reset up a meeting. I had a good conversation with their public works director. Actually, this week I digitally presented to the Rocky Mountain Chapter Conference of the American Public Works Association on our project, and their public works director, Dustin Johnson, was actually there. It was held in Jackson, Wyoming, and he was at the conference, and he and I were able to chat for a little bit about their project and some of the work that they're doing. So yeah, it's productive and moving forward. We are going to move on now to our subcommittee reports, and we're going to start with our communication subcommittee, which will be meeting next week. We've got, just the continued work on getting the vignette videos put together. We've got the last two that we have identified, and then we'll be creating at least one more. And then the goal is that as we see things come up that become routine questions, then we'll generate new content for that. Anything else for communication, Mike?
The feedback from the research and technical colloquium.
Mm-hmm.
And then just talking about communications, considering that we may be adjusting the water supply target,
Mm-hmm.
and how we talk about that, and be open and transparent and science-based, but able to explain ourselves, explain our thinking.
Great. Does anyone have any questions about communications? Technical?
Jeff Hansen covered technical pretty well. The second half of the discussion, Lana started a topic kind of that we're going to poke at some further about sustainable yields from the upper aquifer and how we might leverage those to some degree. So we got some homework to do on that. Anything else I
About it.
missed? Okay.
Yeah, just for context with that, I think most people are aware the city of Moscow hasn't pumped the upper aquifer in any significant way for several years now, and we've got to gather some good data on how that's responded, and we have seen recovery within that aquifer, pretty considerable recovery, really. And so the goal is to try and identify what might be a good and sustainable pumping level for that aquifer. So yeah, that's exciting. It's exciting to be diving into that work. And it's great to have that information to kind of see. It's encouraging to see that kind of recovery that we've seen in that aquifer.
That's a follow-up from Steve, what Steve presented in February.
Yeah, I look forward to that. That'll be fun to look at. Finance, Mike, do you have any details on finance that we need to go over?
So the committee received the finance update. There's no major expenditures, and that's how it goes with us. We go along, and then we spend a chunk of money. So we're going along. It's likely that I'll have a budget for the next fiscal year next month, because sometimes we don't meet in June, and it's not essential, but it's preferable to have a budget before the fiscal year begins. So I think we're in good shape financially. We still have not spent the budgeted funds that would go to the city of Moscow to support the HDR work, and that'll probably be rolled into next year's budget at the same amount as what I expect. Right?
Yeah, we're tracking our reimbursements from the Water Resource Board. We're getting close-ish, but we still got what I anticipate to be at least a few more billings to come through that'll be supported by the Water Resource Board grant. And then once we've exhausted that, minus the 10% holdback that the Water Resource Board requires, then we'll start requesting reimbursement from PBAC. So I suspect it'll probably be late summer.
Yeah.
By the time we start requesting those reimbursements from the committee. Any questions for Mike on finance stuff? Mike, I know it's budget time for us, and I checked in. Is there an increase in the assessments?
No,
There's not in this coming year,
the
right?
assessments are scheduled to remain the same as they were last year.
Okay,
And I have those amounts if anybody needs them, but it's the same as it's been the last 2 years.
great. All right, any other questions for Mike? Does anybody have any other reports or announcements? Okay, well, hearing none, we have our next meeting scheduled for May 21st. And as Mike mentioned, often we cancel our June meeting, so we'll look at that. And if we don't have a lot of meat or something really pressing that we need to get to, then we'll dive into that. Mike, do we have elections that we need to do? Or I think we did 2-year terms as well.
Yeah,
We did it last year.
I think we did them last year.
Will you confirm that?
I'll
Just
check.
because if we're gonna need to do that, June is when we're supposed to do it. So if we cancel that meeting, it's either gotta be in the May meeting or.
I'm pretty doggone sure we did it
I think we did it 2 years.
last summer,
Mhm.
but I'll verify that.
Okay. It always comes up quick.
Yep.
Mike, did you want to mention the annual report?
Did.
Oh,
Annual reports are available. If anybody wants printed copies, I have some here, and then we'll be distributing these as we go around.
It's also available online.
I get one hard copy from you.
Yeah.
Yes, a couple down, please.
all right. Well, with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Okay, great. Thanks, everybody.
Hospital stuff, coming out of the upper meeting for water quality.
Yeah, that was-
Or was
so-
it
A couple reasons. One, we